So welcome again. Today we are going to learn about confirmatory factor analysis CFA in structural equation modeling using AMOS software. So this is an introduction part. It is an introduction part. So we are going to learn about what is confirmatory factor analysis. We are also going to look at the different variables that are involved in confirmatory factor analysis. So just to show you an example, this is an example of a confirmatory factor analysis CFA in AMOS. So for this case, we have four variables, four unobserved variables or four attended variables. We also have the observed variables. So we are going to discuss and see what is a confirmatory factor analysis and what are the variables in confirmatory factor analysis. So just to define, we are saying that confirmatory factor analysis is used to test the fitness of the model to the data. This one means you already have the model like this one. So this one is your model. Then you have the data that you want to learn in this model. So the confirmatory factor analysis helps you to test how the data fits in the model. So another thing that you should note is that confirmatory factor analysis is specifically used to test how well the set of data fits predefined theoretical model. What we are saying is you developed this model from theoretical review. After carrying out a theoretical review, you came up with this model. Then you'll be testing how this model actually fits to the data. Another thing is that CFA checks if the data supports the hypothesized relationship between the observed variables and the underlying latent construct, thereby assessing the fit of the data to the model. And then another thing is that it is used to run to test the reliability and validity of the model and the data used. So now when you test how the model fits to the data, then you will be checking, will the model be reliable or will the model be valid? How is it reliable and how is it valid? So then we look at the different categories of variables that we have. So for this case, we have the latent variables. These are the latent variables, two of them, academic performance and student health. So they are called the latent variables or the unobserved variables. So this one here. So this one are called the unobserved variables. You cannot observe them. They are called latent variables. So the relationship between the two, the connection between the two, academic performance and student health, or the relationship between the latent factors is called covariance. It is called covariance. Then we have the observed variables. Observed variables are, this one can be observed, they can be measured. You can empirically measure observed variables. Then these three observed variables, they are the ones that are measuring the academic performance. They are the ones that are measuring the unobserved variables. For the other case, these three health observed variables, they are helping us to measure the student health. Then we also have another type of variable we call the errors. So each of the observed variables have an error. You can see that we have 6 observed variables. For this case, we have exam 1, exam 2, exam 3 with error 1, error 2, error 3. Then we have the second category of observed variable, health 1, health 2, health 3, each with its own error. Error 4, error 5, error 6. What you should note is that the unobserved variables, or what you are calling the latent factors, is represented by a circle or an oval. So you can see this one is represented by a circle or an oval. For the observed variables, they are represented by a square or a rectangle. You can see these ones are represented by the square or a rectangle. So if you come here to this example, you can see that these unobserved variables, so these latent variables here in AMOS software, they are represented by circles. But when you come to the observed variables, they are represented by rectangles. And then we have the errors from error 1 all the way up to error 20 for each observed variables. So that is an introduction of the confirmatory factor analysis. So in the next video, we are going to look at the fitness test, the model fitness test that is necessary in the confirmatory factor analysis. So make sure to check the next video. Thank you.